welcome to RC Racing TV. In this edition, we're in Austria for the EFRA Large-Scale Off-Road European Championships. Plus, we'll take a look at the HPI Sprint 2 RTRX, in stock now, ready to ship to you from Wheelspin Models. And we'll check in with D'Agostini Model Space and the replica Hummer H1, the car you can build and drive yourself. But first, over to John Hindhoff for the top contenders for the EFRA title.
It's the EFRA large-scale off-road final here in Austria in association with Samba, Graphel Body and D'Agostini Model Space. Tim van der Elst from the Netherlands is on pole position ahead of the Croatian driver Dario Vesely. Jorg Michael Teit from Estonia in 3 on 4. The Belgian Ken Valkiers. Pekka Hekala from Finland off 5. 6th. Philip JC from the Czech Republic. Felix Horens is off 7th from Switzerland, Hop Suisse. Pekka Ivanen in 8th position from Finland. Also from Finland, Joni Hiltunen in 9th, and rounding it off, the German driver Sven Rodewald. There's 30 minutes on the clock. Don't forget, we don't do the D'Agostini doubles the first time through. Got to keep the cars on the ground, which the leaders do. And it's Van der Elst from pole position in the white and green. He's got away onto the Samba tabletop for the first time, heading down onto the block paving. This hairpin is really important, but they're just feeling their way for grip at the moment. It's been brilliant racing all weekend here at Fairing, and the leader's off. The leader's got off, and through immediately goes Vesely. Takes the opportunity to go through and take the lead as they go across the crossover and down towards the last hairpins. Coming through to complete the first lap, the timing bar is there, and that is the Graphel Body hairpin onto the main straight and through onto the start straight. Remember, that's not the finish, so Vesely now can double the D'Agostinis and does. Goes over the D'Agostini doubles there and back onto the Samba tabletop. He's leading. Van der Elst then, the former pole sitter, who is just dropped down to second place for the moment, and they're trying to find some kind of rhythm here. And with the wear that is evident on the circuit, it's not always the obvious racing line by the time we get through to these finals. Lots of different surfaces for the drivers to get their heads around. We've got the dirt, which is very polished now. We've got the grating of the crossover, and of course we've got that block paving for part of the circuit as well. A real test of setup and driving technique. So down through the hairpin. Van der Elst in second, but there's the battle further down. That's the number 4. Ken Valkiers just going off the circuit at the moment. But he's managed to keep it going. Van der Elst in second has made a little mistake there. Leader gets away. Dario Vesely then getting away from Van der Elst in second. There he is, white front, green rear. Michael Teit in third position from third on the grid. The Estonian beginning to put some pressure on out of the Graphel Body hairpin and through onto the start finish straight. Through the doubles again. Do like the flow of this circuit, but it is very much a rhythm circuit here. Watch out how they throw the cars in on the paved area. There's a big bump there, and you just saw Van der Elst getting a little bit sideways, and that meant he had to come off the throttle. It might be better to modify the line through there, and indeed we've seen in some of the semi-finals 1 or 2 of the drivers doing that over the crossover. This is the battle for second, Van der Elst, and in third place Jorg Michael Teit as they come to the final corner. Graphel Body's hairpin and through, beginning to just cut up that first left-hander, and now here is the challenge for the lead. Second place, number 1 I'm seeing there, because he was on pole position, of course. Down towards the hairpin again. And this is real pressure, both of these drivers. And yes, there was just a little change of line there by the number 1 driver, Tim van der Elst. Stayed far more to the middle of the road as he went through the left-hander after the crossover. What's he doing? There's another big bump there. You can see that these heavy machines have taken their toll on the surface. 11 kilos in weight, all-wheel drive, of course. 7.5 horse. I've raced karts that don't have very much more than that. These are really difficult machines to get the power down and to control. It's been pretty good weather here in Austria this weekend, and you can see that we've got the blue hairs, and there goes the second place driver over. Van der Elst just committing himself to that left-hander. Did he just catch a wheel in that hole we were talking about? But he's gone over, and Jan Michael goes into second place. So it's Vazelli leads from Jan Michael Tait in second place, and Van der Elst has dropped down behind Pekka Heikkilä. So Pekka's gone through into third position from fourth on the grid, and the poleman, who was odds-on favourite for this, the Dutch driver Tim van der Elst, is struggling at the moment. He'll be really annoyed with himself. So the blue and white, number 5 of Pekka Heikkilä. And he's rolled as well. And that's another one of the danger areas just after that little jump. And again, that's cut up quite badly. So is this some kind of salvation for the pole sitter? Back up into third. But now he's got to really get his head down and start chasing the two ahead, who are pulling away. Great lap times by Dario Vazelli, by the way, who's in the lead. We haven't seen him for a while. This is third place driver Tim van der Elst. And again, he just doesn't look confident onto the Samba tabletop there, does he? There now in fourth place is the number 7, Felix Horrens, the Swiss driver. Been a good weekend for the Swiss. Brought a big team here and have got drivers through to pretty much all of the semis and finals. Great atmosphere here in the paddock. The hospitality of the Austrians once again here at the Föhring circuit has been superb. And this is the battle for third. Van der Elst just does not have the pace, does he? Goes wide there, gets onto the dirt and loses third place to Felix Horrens, the Swiss driver. Kicks the number 7 car in. Very distinctive look to that car. Very much more in the middle of the road, you saw there as he came over that bump before the drop on the... Oh, that's a great move though by the Dutchman. Tim van der Elst goes back ahead of the MACW club member, the Swiss. This is, remember, the battle for third place. Still ahead, Jan Michael Tait in second place, and Dario Vazelli, the Croatian driver, is leading the race over the D'Agostini doubles and down to the hairpin. This is fantastic stuff from these two, but they are slowing each other up, and it won't be long before they start getting caught from behind. Just look there. Yes, there's another one of the drivers beginning to catch them up. They're modifying their lines over the more difficult parts of the circuit. At the moment in the battle for third place on the podium, it is Tim van der Elst with a slender advantage, but no doubt in my mind they are slowing each other up, and the lap times as they go through the gravel body hairpin definitely shows that. And over goes the Swiss driver, and through goes the German Sven Rodenwald, who's had a brilliant run so far, up from 10th on the grid now to 4th position. Now, can he do anything about that green and white buggy ahead of him? There was definitely no touch there. Again, just trying that middle of the road line. You can see that the suspension on some of these buggies has been set up very compliantly indeed. This circuit is a real test to set up. We've seen in the past it's quite a tyre destroyer as well, so being able to run the car aggressively perhaps is not always the best thing to do. That looks like a decent compromise there that Sven's got in 4th position, trying to chase down Tim van der Elst, who is still in 3rd position. Haven't seen our 2nd and 1st drivers for a while, but rest assured they're still out there. Tim was very impressive indeed in the qualifiers and the quarters and semis. Qualified through as the pole man to this 30-minute final. Off the block paving and into the technical area. That's the view from the berm cam at the gravel body hairpin. He's beginning just to pick his pace up a little bit now. And Rodewald in 4th position, not really gaining. Traffic could well be a problem here. Lap cars should be keeping an eye open, and we'll hear, I'm sure, from our race director if anyone starts to get in the way. And all of a sudden, having said that Rodenwald wasn't making any impression, he's made a liar of me, because he's just put in a very decent lap indeed and begins to pressure third position. And once again, Tim van der Elst, who's had things pretty much his own way in the qualifying, is under pressure. It'll only be a lap or so as the wind just picking up there and blowing across the circuit here at Ferring. It's the battle for third, then onto the Samba tabletop and off down towards the hairpin. Love the guys committing early into this and sliding the cars through like Rodenwald has just done that. Coming down this pit drop. Really hard to judge whether you try and take a sharp line and cut down the distance. Whether you can get the power on early by going a little wider. All little compromises all the time here. You can see just how much the Graphel body hairpin is cutting up on the racing line and through the first corner as well. Down towards the D'Agostini doubles.
Well, we'll return to Austria for the climax of this race after the break. Testing and developing the Savage XL Octane has been extra rigorous. Different surfaces, temperatures and trials, the Octane has faced it all. This is Clough Wood, a classic hill climb venue in the heart of the rugged English countryside. We arrived with one thing on our minds. The Savage XL Octane should go, and go long. Well, the Octane does go and go. The huge forward-mounted 300cc fuel tank feeds the efficient 15cc engine, while the massive heatsink and large turbofan keep things cool under the hood. Before long, we needed some assistance. Even though things got steeper, dustier and bumpier, the extra strong quadra clutch and slipper clutch worked perfectly. And closer to the top, we even had to ditch the car. But the Savage XL Octane just wasn't ready to quit. The Savage XL Octane, quick to start and over 20 minutes of runtime per tank. Austria.
Got to wonder what, if anything, is left in the tank in terms of speed from this third and fourth place battle. Well, Rodenwald seems to have got his buggy set up for the end of the race, and all of a sudden the challenge is on. Little touch there, but that's okay. Tries to find the inside line onto the infield whoops, but can't make that happen. Mistake in front was one of the back markers, I think. It certainly wasn't the Estonian driver. It's Ken Valkiers who just made a little mistake there, or at least perhaps pulled over to let this battle for third place run through. Ken, not really a factor here as this battling duo continues to thrill the crowd. You can see that a lot of the other drivers and connections have stayed on for these finals. It's been a real party atmosphere in the paddock. The Austrians really know how to put an event on. Second time in 2 years that we've been here, and here's the battle, and there is the new third place driver. Rodenwald goes through, and this is extraordinary. From 10th on the grid, squeaked into the final, and is now in a podium spot. Onto the Samba tabletop. Let's see that again here, where, just clipped the entrance to the bridge, the parapet on the right-hand side. That compromised the run across the crossover. Rodenwald needing no second invitation and goes straight through and has held on to the lead for the moment. Here's the scene of the crime, and you can see that they are beginning to pick up pace now, leaning on those buggies from the Graphil Bodies berm cam there, and this is still the third place. This is the best battle on the circuit, over the D'Agostini doubles and down into the hairpin, onto the Samba tabletop, and Van der Elst trying to salvage something in that white-fronted machine as they go past Hiltunen. Journey keeps out of the way of this battle. Van der Elst, though, from pole position would have expected to be battling for the top spot, not for the final position on the podium. This is going to start getting very important very quickly as he gets sideways there. Good save, in fact, underneath our commentary position. There's our leader. We haven't seen him for a while. That's Veseli from Croatia, and he has paced himself perfectly. Now, as I glance at the timing and scoring, he is 12 seconds ahead of Teat in second place as he comes across and through this very technical set of hairpins at the end of the lap. There's the Graphil Bodies hairpin, and our berm cam on there, which has been so popular this weekend. That just looks a well set up car, doesn't it? And there's the second place man, the red number 3. Car in front is a lap car, Jörg Michael Tait. Again, I always look at how the cars fly and how they land, and try and judge from that how well the cars are running. Jörg Michael favours a slightly more aggressive and a bit stiffer setup. It does mean there's less room for making mistakes. Be very precise with your driving. But as you can see, he's making it work, and at the moment he's cruising along to second position, but unable, as I'm looking at the lap times again, he's not able to make any kind of impression on our leader. Now there is the 0, that's Sven Rodewald, and ahead of him Pekka Heikkilä, who just gets in the way for a moment. Now Pekka was there or thereabouts early on, but his pace has dropped away, and he's already been lapped by the first 2, and he's about to be lapped by third position as well. Tim van der Elst is out of the picture at the moment. So what's happened to Tim? He's dropped away. There's second. Second position then for Jörg Michael. He goes through. Oh, hang on a second, in the background there, you can see Veseli in the pit lane. That was our leader. And, do you know, I was saying earlier on about the issues that this circuit has, and again, we've seen tyre problems. He's thrown a tyre. He's had to do a pit stop, which his team have turned him around very quickly. So that means that we have a new leader, and it is Jörg Michael Tait, the Estonian driver. There he is on the number 3. And Veseli, well, was he pushing too hard? He had that 12-second gap. There's Veseli, just had a crash now, so he's trying to gain it back, and surely he can't push hard enough to get that, all of that ground that he's lost in the pit stop and the tyre and wheel change. While he's sliding his buggy around, you can see it's very aggressive driving, and if that's what he's been doing out of our sight when he was 12 seconds down the road, it's really no surprise that he's put so much pressure on the tyres. Well. Drama. Major drama. This is second place. The man who had a commanding lead. Veseli then is now in second to Jörg Michael Tait, the Estonian driver. What a win that would be for him. Not one of the major favourites coming into this. He's looked steady right the way through the week so far. Quite confident about the Estonian driver. He's taken his opportunity, and at the moment he's running with it. The battle for third's heating up as well, with Heikkilä, Hiltunen. Oh, who's that? That's Rodewald. I was just about to say that the battle was, and that is a very, very broken rear end for the third place man. Oh, disaster. And that will leave Tim van der Elst in third position, the man who started on pole. Well, what drama. Don't write the headlines yet. Is it all over? So time is clicking down. Surely there's nothing else to excite us here. This has been an unbelievable run Jörg Michael Tait, the Estonian, coming through, and he might just get another lap or two in here. Just a little bit of a lock of the rear wheels. Through he comes, and on to what I believe will be his final lap, the 44th for him. He doesn't bother with the doubling of the D'Agostini whoops there, onto the Samba tabletop for the final time. And we'll really watching now what is effectively a lap of honour for the new EFRA large-scale off-road champion here at Föhring in Austria. Just the technical parts. He's pacing himself. He knows what he's got to do. Doesn't want to flip it over at this point. Vazelli in second is not in sight. Through to the Graffel body hairpin for the last time. There's the checkered flag, and we've got a champion. Well, 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 from third position. Let's confirm the results then. Jörg Michael Tait wins it on 44 laps from Dario Vazelli, also on 44. They were the only two on the lead lap. Tim van der Elst from pole position only made it to third.
Build and drive the ultimate off-road vehicle, the Hummer H1 remote control car. Go to modelspace.com now to discover how you can build and drive your very own all-terrain vehicle. Get your high-quality parts and step-by-step instructions to build the nitro-powered, radio control-ready Hummer H1. This iconic car is not available in stores, so go to modelspace.com now and get your exclusive offer today.
Well, that's all we've got time for on this month's RC Racing TV, but do not forget to check out modelspace.com for all the fantastic D'Agostini RC and static models, and of course us at rcracing.tv for all the RC action. See you next month.